Okay, everybody, this is a quick video on naming compounds that start out with transition metals. Now, you already know that everybody in group 1 has a +1 oxidation number, and everybody in group 2 has a +2 oxidation number, and mostly when we're talking about these guys, they're +3, all right? But what we haven't talked much about, and I hope you've already watched the other video, are the transition metals. The thing is, these guys have multiple oxidation numbers. It's not a given, it's sort of a question mark, okay? And here's what I mean by that. You could have an atom, which I'm just going to represent with this little card. You could have an atom of iron that had a charge of +3. Or you could have another atom of iron that only had a charge of +2. Okay? This one would be called iron 2. The other atom that had of iron that had a charge of +3 would be called iron 3. Okay? Now let's check out some compounds. The name of this compound is potassium chloride, and that's the correct formula. Now you know this because potassium has a charge of +1 and chlorine has a charge of -1. So those charges cancel out and you have 0, right? This is the formula for potassium chloride, KCl, all right? Also, what if we had sodium chloride? That would be NaCl, because just like potassium, sodium has a +2 charge, okay? Well, what if we had a different card? For example, what if we had beryllium? You know, beryllium is +2 every time because it's in group 2, right? Beryllium comes from right here, so it's always +2, okay? Well, if you have beryllium, then obviously you'd need 2 chlorines. So the formula for this would be BeCl2. Now, that's easy enough. Check out this card. What's the name of this? What's the name of this copper? Well, it's called copper 1 because it has a charge of +1. What's the name of this atom? That's right, that's copper 2. The formula for copper 1 chloride is CuCl. The formula for copper 2 chloride is CuCl2. All the cards or all the atoms have to be equal to 0. So the formula for copper 2 chloride is CuCl2. The formula for copper 1 chloride is CuCl. So we could now take a look back. This is potassium chloride. Potassium's always +1, so that's the only possible formula ever for potassium chloride, right? But the name of this one cannot be titanium chloride. It can't be, because this formula also exists, right? The name of this would be titanium 1, and we have to write the 1 in parentheses. And this is the letter I from Roman numerals, titanium 1 chloride. Because we know that this had to be a +1 because we know chlorine's -1. I'll show you an example with the cards. If you had a titanium card and the charge was +1, then the formula to cancel itself out with chlorine would just be TiCl. So the name of this would be titanium and then you'd have to name the charge titanium 1 chloride. Now, what if this titanium card was a different atom of titanium? What if it had 2 positive charges up here, titanium 2? Then the formula would have to be titanium 2 chloride, or it'd be TiCl2. This should make sense to you. This should make sense to you. So in review, this formula is just called potassium chloride because potassium is from group 1 and it will always have a charge of +1. It's a permanent oxidation number. But when you get to the middle of the table, you could have multiple versions like that is copper 1 chloride. But another combination of copper and chlorine is copper 2 chloride. And they would have 2 different formulas. This is CuCl2. This formula is just CuCl. I hope that helps.